Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June 25th, 2025 Board of Trustees agenda meeting. It is 6 o'clock on the dot. And so I'm calling this meeting to order, and I'd like to ask Clerk Perillo to confirm the presence of a quorum.
Thank you. Mayor Shepro?
Present.
Thank you. Trustee Giuliano?
Here.
Thank you. Trustee Hill?
Here.
Thank you. Trustee Laux? Thank you. Trustee Ugrinsky?
Present.
Thank you. Attorney Moran and Treasurer Gafka are with us as well, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we all stand now for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we all remain standing for 1 minute? I know these meetings aren't meant to be a commemoration of things, but sometimes they are. And I just want to first say that as a village, we're very grateful that Lisa Yeager has survived and come out safely from a very tragic accident that took place earlier this week. And we're just glad that she's safe and sound. Conversed with her over email earlier today, and she confirmed that she's all good, so we're happy about that. I would also ask everyone to take a moment of silence. We've lost some very distinguished residents over the past few weeks, and I want to take a moment to recognize them. And one who's not a resident, but very close to someone who's very significant to our village. So first, Desmond O'Sullivan. We lost very recently. His services are today at Bryant Funeral Home, and there is a mass at St. Charles Chapel tomorrow morning. We also lost a longtime resident, Jeremiah Duran, who was well-known, had 4 children, as did Desmond O'Sullivan, had children going through our school district and contributing to our community in amazing ways. And then Chris Ryan, our village historian, lost his father recently too, so I wanted to take a moment to recognize that. So just a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, Clerk Perillo, are there announcements today?
Yes, Mayor, just one. The fact that the July 2025 work session meeting and the annual organizational meeting will be held together beginning at 5 o'clock p.m. on the 9th of July, 2025.
All right, that's Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, we invite Officer Casey Berry and Anthony Flamia, our Assistant Supervisor of our Code Enforcement Department, up to come on up and provide us with the public safety and welfare update. Yes.
Yeah?
Mhm.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Officer Casey Berry. I'm here with you from the 6th Precinct Code Office. I'm here to report your crime stats, everything that's occurred. Thank you. This past month here in your village. And the dates that I'm going to be looking at comparing last year to this year are from May 28th to June 25th. So your total calls for service were 372 last year. And 354 this year. So calls went down as your total calls for service. As far as crimes that were reported, you had no aggravated harassments last year, 1 this year. Aggravated harassments where somebody feels like they're threatened or perceived threat over text or electronic means of communication like email. You had 1 assault last year, none this year. No burglaries last year or this year. You had 10 criminal mischiefs last year, and that's damage to property, and only 1 reported this year. Harassment, you had 9 last year, 6 reported this year. Harassments where there's physical contact, like a slap, a push, a kick, and those were mostly domestic in nature that occurred. They more often than not are. Your larcenies went up, larcenies, stolen property, and they went up from 2 last year to 10 this year. Looking at them, you had, one was a report of a package stolen from somebody's front porch. And most of the other larcenies were from vehicles. Whether it was tools, they have money, a cell phone and money. So various things taken from people's vehicles in their driveway as well as in the parking lots. So I think I've mentioned this before, and I say it like at almost every meeting I go to in all the different hamlets that we go to. Just reminders to lock your cars, because it's really just crimes of opportunities in when people are shopping, they're having dinner, some people, they watch people, coming and going from their vehicles, and they know that you're not gonna be coming back to your vehicle for a period of time, or obviously overnight, they know, hey, maybe somebody forgot to lock their car, they check the handle. Sometimes people come actually from like the city in Queens and actually have crews, they come out and drop, and they'll drop the person off, and they'll be walking around streets and just checking people's cars in the street. So, not to alarm you, but it's just real stuff that happens, and it's just really important for us to make sure we're taking our keys from our cars, bring them inside, and making sure those doors are locked, okay? And even like when you go to get Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, like take the key out of the car. We've had vehicles actually stolen with the key fob in the car, because people are thinking they're just getting that quick cup of joe, and the car, believe it or not, gets taken. So just a reminder for that. Menacing, that's a threat with like a weapon to a person. Nothing was reported last year or this year. Same with robberies, nothing reported. So that, I think, is really indicative of nice low crime here in your community. Total criminal incidents were 41 last year and 32 this year. Your non-criminal incidents, like your aided cases even went down. You had 90 calls to us for like a transport to the hospital last year, 75 this year. Your house alarms, 43 last year, 38 this year. Check on the welfare, went up from 10 to 18. Your total non-criminal incidents were 331 last year and 322 this year. And your total number of arrests went from 14 to 16. I spoke with your 2 officers that are here specifically in your community that work over Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. I don't know if you guys have seen them. They're walking on foot. They're in their vehicle. I spoke with them since our last meeting. I talked to them about your concerns about speeding, East Broadway, West Broadway, Main Street, Barnum, and they've been doing enforcement there. They talked to me about it. They said they made like 3 DWI arrests over the past couple of weeks. So they're really responding to your community concerns. I conveyed the concerns about loud exhausts. I'm not sure if they made any enforcement like summonses there with that, but I did tell them that it's a concern in this community, and it has been for quite some time. And I'm gonna bring up the e-bikes because I know it's a concern here, and I know it's a concern in all of our communities. And we've been talking about it a lot at the precinct. I've been speaking with supervisors and all the officers about what can we do. It's just a chronic issue here in the village, and really, pretty much everywhere, in a lot of different communities. And what it's coming down to is legislation that it's such a gray area. And when I say gray, it's because it's not a motor vehicle, and is it really a bicycle? It's considered a bicycle, a lot of them, because they have that pedal ability with that battery to make it an electric vehicle. So, it's a really hard thing for us to enforce. We haven't been enforcing anything. It's been really tough for us to even get these kids who are maybe not wearing a helmet. Is it something that we're able to do with our manpower? I can't say that we have the manpower to do it, and also the legislation doesn't really allow us to. So we're very frustrated, and we want to make sure we convey to our communities. This requires a call to your legislators. Something needs to happen with these e-bikes. The more they're on the streets, more and more, and we don't have, New York State penal law, vehicle and traffic law, the way it's written, we really can't enforce the things that we want to, which is like taking these from the kids. We can't just take the vehicle from them. Depends on the age they are. It depends on so many things. And it also, what prevents us from doing some enforcement is not just that the laws don't exist, but then even when there is something like that may be kind of gray, and we think we might have something, do we have probable cause to even stop this person on the e-bike? So our hands are tied in so many ways as officers to be able to enforce this, because there's not much to. I hope I'm making sense, because it's really, I'd have to go into so many different ways the laws are written. and you have juvenile law, you have VTL, it's not a motorized vehicle, it's a bicycle, and all these different things. We're trying to ask ourselves, what can we do? And there's not a lot that we can do, to be honest. So I wanted to kind of make sure I just address that, because it's been something that we talked about last month and something that has been coming up in a lot of different communities. And I wanted to validate your frustrations, because we're just as frustrated. I know I heard somebody, I think there was a kid, did you guys like called and asked for an ambulance? A kid got hurt, I think they fell off one just last week, a couple days ago. It drives me bananas. I'm driving home from work and I see, like on North Country Road, I saw a kid on an e-bike holding, towing his friend by his arm on his bicycle while this kid's on his e-bike, his like e-scooter. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, and yeah, and it's the adults also. It is the adults also. So it's a very frustrating time with these. They're everywhere. They're literally everywhere, and there's not a lot that we can do with the way the laws are written. As far as our community meeting at our 6th precinct, which I always say is like another way to get some information about what we're doing in our 6th precinct and from the police department's perspective, that meeting for the month of July is canceled, so our inspector will not be holding that at our 6th precinct. The next one would be August, and I think that might be the 12th. I don't know offhand. I think it is. It's usually the second Tuesday of the month, and that'll be morning time. And then just to mention a fun thing that we do every year, it's called National Night Out. It's a great community event that we host in Center Reach at Center Reach Pool. And it's a nationwide event at all your different police department agencies like NYPD, Nassau, us, and all of our different precincts. So we have 7 precincts. There'll be 7 national night outs, 1 in each precinct, where we have various vendors, a lot of free giveaways, like from different restaurants and businesses. The event itself is free. Center Reach Pool stays open all night. We have a DJ. It's a great way to just get families together and bring the community together to celebrate really the relationship that we have as law enforcement officers with our wonderful communities here in the 6th precinct. So that's Tuesday, August 5th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Again, it's a fun, free night for everybody. We have food trucks, touch a truck area with all the different police vehicles, and we even have like excavators from the town, all different vehicles. And then, like I said, different giveaways, like Chick-fil-A will be there. I think Applebee's is gonna be there. Starbucks is there. A lot of, I think it's like something like 60 different vendors. So cool stuff. And then I'll open it up to any questions or anything you guys have for me.
Sure. Just a note, Trustee Hill and I were at a legislative breakfast this week
Okay.
at St. Charles. They
Yeah.
invite legislators in from around, and Assemblywoman Cassay was also there. And one of the questions that came up was, has the hospital emergency department seen increased numbers of injuries coming in from e-bike accidents?
Right.
And they weren't aware of it at the time, but they did get back to us and let us know that, yes, they have, like, the nurse in the emergency department said, we have
Really?
seen a bunch of
I
these.
bet. I'm not
And
surprised.
that's just one hospital. So
Yeah.
I shared that with the Assemblywoman because she is speaking about, she's updating us on some they're trying to figure out proposed legislation
That'd be
for
great. 'Cause it's
for
state.
some sort of
That would be
regulation.
great.
I don't know what it looks like, but I know
Yeah.
they're talking about it, so that's
That's
optimistic.
good to know. Good. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
That's great.
From a public safety perspective, from a
Yeah.
public health standpoint, that's going to be a driver, I think,
Yeah.
very strongly.
Yep. As it should be, for sure.
Any questions for Officer Berry? Please come on up.
Can you hear me? Okay. There was a report of an alleged incident in Upper Port yesterday morning regarding ICE activity. Can you or the 6th precinct, do you have any knowledge, or maybe our code enforcement, if this did indeed happen? And please give us a report on what happened and anything that you might know.
I nodded because somebody actually called our precinct just 2 days ago and asked about similar but related to Port Jeff Station. ICE is separate from us, just to clarify. So it's like asking me what happened in Harlem. Like, I wouldn't necessarily know because it has, even though it's happening maybe in our community, we're a separate entity, just so you know. I don't know anything about it. Are you aware of them being in the village?
I have received, my name is Anthony Flammy, I'm Assistant
Oh,
Code
sorry.
Supervisor. I had received several calls. Actually, they saw it on Facebook. I myself was up there in Upper Port at that time, and I didn't see any of the activity.
But
I
there
know-
were police cars up there of some type or security? You don't know for
I
sure?
didn't see them. When I had got the call from the one person, I had went out, and I didn't see any activity. They may have been there, they may have not been there.
Okay. If indeed, I'm sorry, what were you going to
No, I was gonna say, that was the same call I got. It was somebody saying that they saw it on social media, and it appeared to be unmarked vehicles. And I don't know if it was the assumption that it was ICE. I mean, we have various unmarked vehicles, individuals in multiple, it could be criminal intel, narcotics, units that I don't even know necessarily what they're working on because it's a private investigation. So I don't know specifically who was there and what was happening. Related to ICE, the only time we might know that they're here and conducting any sort of work would be if they needed us as backup to something. If something went awry, they would ask us for
That would be
assistance.
illegal. That would be illegal,
If
Officer Berry.
something went awry from a safety perspective, we would absolutely get involved. Our commissioner has taken the stance that we are not working with ICE. We are-
Sheriff Talloon told me the same thing personally. I'm just concerned because these are happening in all of our communities.
Mm-hmm.
And for us to sit back and watch this happen without any type of commentary from our elected officials, our policing officials, our local code enforcements. This is what's happening, as you well know, and communities are frightened. Friends of ours are frightened. People are reaching out all over the county to try to protect what's happening in our country, in the town of Brookhaven, and maybe allegedly in Port Jefferson. So that is why I'm asking you any
Sure.
questions.
Yeah.
If there's anybody here today that wants any information, we are part of a rapid response community, local, who assist immigrants. We hand out information to people that we know that might need all of this information regarding their legal rights, because most people do not know what the immigrants' legal rights are, and they are terrified. School children are terrified. If
Yeah.
anybody wants information, I have packets in the back. Please take them, and I'd appreciate that. And I hope that our village no way encourages any of our code enforcers or Suffolk County police officers to engage in any ICE activity. Thank you. Oh, okay. Happily on the record, Myrna Gordon, Rustic Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Myrna. Any other questions for Officer Berry and the 6th Precinct?
Down here, I do, thank you. One, thank you so much for bringing up the noise. I think of all the trustees, I'm the closest that lives to Main Street, and I hear a faint version of it, so I know my neighbors much closer to Main Street have the full show, and it's horrendous for them. So just thank you for continuing to keep your eye on that and making sure that the officers operating the whiskey unit know as well. So thank you. And then just we got a complaint about speeding on North Columbia between North Country and Highland Boulevard. So it's kind of from North Country really toward the train station, which when they were describing it to me kind of makes perfect sense because there's a combination of commercial and residential on that road. So it is a straight shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
then
we'll make that a patrol check for a period of time.
thank you. I
Okay,
appreciate
sure.
that. And then one of my neighbors actually had their pride flag stolen off of their
Saw that. That was one of our signs,
porch.
Yes.
But this is actually a thank you because they were very hesitant to file it with the police, and they originally reached out to me. I know they posted it on social media as well, and I highly encouraged them to do so. And they were very pleasantly surprised and very happy with the reaction that they got from the 6th Precinct officers that responded. And they were very pleased with specifically detectives Ed Gracci and Delfina Rivera from the Hate Crimes Division. So I just wanted to say thank you for their taking that issue seriously.
Sure.
I'm very hopeful that it was a prank and not a hate crime.
Yeah, right.
But
Okay.
you know, you still
That's
have
what we
to
have to do
take
in
it
terms of
seriously.
our end
Yep.
as a procedure. I'll convey the thanks to those detectives too,
Thank you.
because I know them, and I'll reach out to them. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, appreciate it. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Okay. Anthony.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anthony Flammey. I'm Assistant Code Supervisor. Kevin Cooper, sorry he couldn't be here tonight, so I'm going to be actually informing you of what's going on in our village. And we had another successful month at Code. We had some new uniforms distributed to all the new hires that we hired recently. We've had 11 new hires. They've started to work on their own in the village. We actually trained them briefly on the use of the scanners and the use of the vehicles and brought them up to speed with the procedures and what we do here. We continue to address the issues at the Gap behind Tommy's next to the steam room. The Whiskey Team 6, which we call them, we have direct access to them on our radio. The precinct personnel have been notified when we have the conditions. Kevin Cooper met with Renee and the lifeguards to discuss how to contact Code if there are any issues. Excuse me. For the residents parked at East and West beaches. For the month, we received 28 calls for service so far in June. 23 are via the Code phone, who call us direct, and 5 through the online complaint system, which is on the Port Jeff website. This month, we issued 5 appearance tickets, 3 for open alcohol, and 2 to one of the businesses on Main Street for vacant windows and property maintenance. Month to date, we have issued 905 parking tickets, and we still have a few more days in June for enforcement. Last year in June, we had 737 parking tickets, so we had an increase. Just finished installing a new antenna at DPW. That's part of Code and also the Emergency Operations Center. It actually just completed yesterday. I had overseen that installation. Some of the upcoming events, June 30th, we have the senior prom. We're working with the event coordinators to ensure the safe flow of traffic and it parked safely on Caroline before the procession. And then we have a plan to reroute the traffic on Barnum and Caroline, so all the attendees of the prom can proceed safely down Barnum to the high school at 5:45. The July 3rd fireworks, we're working with the fire marshal, DPW, and the 6th precinct auxiliaries to route the parking and traffic in a safe and efficient manner at the beaches and the surrounding areas. July 4th event, the fire department parade, we're working with the FD 6th precinct and DPW to ensure all the intersections and streets are safely shut down for the safe flow of the parade. We will also have personnel working to monitor all the upcoming music events at Harborfront Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for our Assistant Supervisor Flamia?
I have a question. Hello?
Hello.
Nice to see you. I've been getting some questions from the neighbors that are close to East Beach. So do you have anything you can share regarding sort of plans for parking and sort of crowd management for the Friday night concert series down at East Beach?
So we're actually starting to allocate personnel for those days. We're going to actually enhance the presence down there. My guys have been down there with that, especially now with the hot weather. So we are definitely deploying more people around those dates. I have the list of those dates on my desk.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
very
Anthony.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Officer Berry. Now, our next item on the agenda is public to address, but I'm going to take a quick left turn right now and do something off agenda for a second. Trustee Laux, can you join me up in front of the dais, please?
Should he bring his balloons?
So, just go like this. This is an auspicious moment for the Village of Port Jefferson and the Board of Trustees, in that it is Trustee Laux' final meeting as a trustee for the Village of Port Jefferson so far, okay? So we just want to take a moment, Stan, to express our appreciation to you for all that you've contributed to the village. 5 elections, 10 years, 5 terms of dedication to the village and to the Port Jefferson Country Club do not go unrecognized. They are, your legacy is strong and not quite complete yet, because we don't think you're going anywhere. We still will have you around. But we wanted to do something on behalf of the Country Club staff, the Country Club Management Advisory Council, the Country Club Board of Governors, the Board of Trustees, and the residents of this village, and provide you with something to commemorate your time here. So just give me a second. The plaque says, with help from his daughter, Stan the Man Laux, Incorporated Village of Port Jefferson Trustee, 2015 to 2025. Can you read that? I can't, I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah, in gratitude for your 10 years of service to the Port Jefferson Country Club and the Village of Port Jefferson.
Thank you, Stan. And can his family come on up here? Thank you, Jill. I just, before anybody thinks that we spent $1 million on this, I got this frame at a garage sale at the Highlands. And our graphic designer put it together within the frame that was existing, so it didn't cost really too much.
Thank you so much.
Trustees, come on up too, please. Jeff and Pat, you want to come up here, please? We invited the CCMAC. They were basically all off doing some other things, and so was the Board of Governors, but we invited Pat and Jeff to come on up. And has Larry and Jake here too.
You took most of my speech. However, our last board meeting after 10 years, I've enjoyed every minute of it. I hope that I have contributed to the village. I want to thank all of you. A couple of you are very special. The one who talked me into becoming a trustee, especially Margot Garant. I don't know if it was a threat or not, but it's been a pleasure working with 2 mayors. I've really enjoyed the last 10 years. Again, I want to thank the entire board, all of the residents in the village. I was a little suspicious when I saw Pat come through the door. And then Jeff showed up. Again, thank you so much. I enjoyed every minute of the 10 years, and I really hope that I made a difference. Thank you.
Stan, I'd like to add a personal thanks. I would not even have considered running if it weren't for your tutelage. So, thank you.
And I mentioned that our graphic designer put that together. Her name is Fran Moshe, and she has made such an incredible impact on this village with her talent and interpretation of things. She put this together, working with me just really quickly and efficiently, and she's amazing. So big shout out to Fran and Grania too, because I understand Grania had a lot to do with it too in the village center. The two of them combined our force du jour in the art world, so we're very grateful to have them. So thank them both, and look at it in good health, but we know you'll be back, right?
I'm not going anywhere. I was a little remiss when I was thanking some people here. I don't want to say that I couldn't run again because of my lovely wife, Peggy. She's been very, very patient with for the 10 years. As everyone sitting here knows, it's not easy. It's not a part-time job. You see us part-time, but we're working pretty much full-time. Thank you to my daughter. Love you guys. Karen Sullivan, our neighbor, love you. Again, thanks to everyone in this community for allowing me to work for you. Thank you.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled agenda. Now is our moment in time where we invite the public to address the Board of Trustees. Barbara.
Hi, Barbara Sabatino. First of all, I would like to congratulate Mayor Shepro and Bob Giuliano and Mr. Franco on your wins. And Stan, nobody knows how hard you work, and you did a wonderful job, and thank you for all that hard work. I hope to see you again in the ShopRite bread aisle, so where I run into people a lot. I noticed that on the resolutions that there's going to be a public hearing about noise, and this seems very timely. On June 13th, I was talking to my neighbor outside, and a helicopter came 200 feet from the new ED and the helicopter pad at Mather. And it was circling so low, and my neighbor and I had to stop talking because we couldn't hear each other. And we could see the numbers on the side of the helicopter. And they didn't come in once, but they did a couple of circles. And my neighbor said maybe they're practicing. And I said, I don't think so. I think maybe that the construction was in the way, couldn't figure it out. But a couple of days later, thank you. A couple of days later, it happened again, where the helicopter came in so low and so loud. Now, I get concerned because I have an older house with plaster walls, and the house was vibrating. So I really would like to see, and one other thing happened, which was I'm sitting in the dining room on the first floor, and I look out the window, and I can see the helicopter so low, I shouldn't be able to see it from sitting in my dining room. If I needed to go see a helicopter, I should be outside looking up. So when Mather was coming to the planning board, one of the things we discussed was the helicopters and how they would be coming in. And they said, Mather said that the FAA deemed that these should, in good weather, come in from the east, but these seem to come in from all different directions all the time. I would like to ask the Board of Trustees perhaps to generate a letter. And I gotta be clear that it doesn't happen all the time. I think it's one Yahoo that says, oh, we got a helicopter, zoom, zoom. Because, like I said, it doesn't happen all the time. But I would like to remind Mather that they're sitting right in the middle of a residential area. And when the helicopters come in, okay, when the helicopters come in and when the helicopters leave, they should be going straight up and then out. They shouldn't be coming across the treetops. The other thing that I would like to bring up is that the people that were at the Meet the Candidates, night, they need a new audio system. So it was so difficult to hear, and people had to be brought in to fix what we had, that perhaps the village would like to invest in a new audio system, especially when their HVAC goes on. Can't hear a thing. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, Barbara. Other public comment? Karen?
Hi, Karen Sullivan, 66 Soundview Drive. I just wanted to actually just kind of throw out some thank yous to our code supervisors. We celebrated our 1-year anniversary on Friday, and they were incredibly helpful to help us facilitate an event for our community. It was not a private event, it was open to our entire community. So we were just really grateful for their love and support that they showed me and showed our store on East Main Street. So I just really wanted to publicly thank them. It was a great event for the community to come together and for us to kind of just welcome our village, you know, wholeheartedly. So we were really grateful to be able to do that. And I also just wanted to publicly say that I'm grateful that I have been sitting on the Public Safety Advisory Council, and I know that I was filling a seat temporarily. So I do hope that that I will be considered again to stay on. I don't exactly know what yet that process is going to look like, so I know that you'll let me know. But I would be honored to continue to volunteer to sit on the committee. It's been incredibly eye-opening, and really it's a great group of residents and individuals that we are all together. And it's been really interesting to learn just about like what public safety encompasses besides like the obvious things that we think about. So I do hope that, you know, that I'll be able to continue to serve the village in some capacity. So thank you for that. And to the team on public safety, and to Trustee Hill, and to Tracy Stapleton, our chairperson. They are extremely respectful and open-minded and very inclusive to everyone on the group. So it's really wonderful. We collaborate and really brainstorm on lots of ideas, and it's just a very respectful group. So I really enjoy it. So thank you, Trustee Hill. Thank you. And then I just really wanted to say that it's great that we're here in our season for the village. Business has really started picking up, and we're grateful for that we've gotten through the winter, and we celebrated 1 year. You know, it was really tough over the winter, but we are also expanding. So we just made that announcement on Friday. So we will be taking over the downstairs space in our building. It's 146 Mariners Way. So we are incredibly grateful for the opportunity. And, you know, once things kind of really start to roll out, we'll definitely let the village know and invite all the trustees and everything. So I just really wanted tonight to be a public thank you for all the support, and obviously to Stan. Everybody knows how much I love and adore him. We literally live right next door to one another. He has been the best neighbor we could ever possibly ask for. So incredibly helpful in our village, and I just truly appreciate your level of service and commitment to our village and what you've given us for the last 10 years. So thank you again.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Myrna?
I have my props. There's a reason. There's a method to my madness. Okay, thank you. I'm really in a good mood tonight because I saw something written down in the agenda for the resolution. By the way, I like your casual look today, Mr. Moran. Casual Wednesday, like it very much. Okay. Absolutely. Stan, what can I say? Thank you so much. I've had a great relationship with you, and I will sorely miss you. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything. So anyway, when I read the resolution that's going to be talked about later on, I said to myself, some of you don't know that 2.5 years ago, I was at this very podium. And at this very podium, I had this to show you. I had this to show you, okay? And I had this to show you. And I gave out samples to all of you, and you were all receptive, those, of course, that were on the board and trustees at that time. And I also might have shown you this. Asking at all if there would be a possibility for our village to become more aware of the plastic that is being used in our community and how we can diminish its use. And after 2.5 years and working with Holly and other people, and especially Kyle and Bob Giuliano, it is happening, okay? And if only all of the environmental things in our village could be so easy as these few things, knowing how you, Lauren, had mentioned that your concern, of course, was flooding. We have big issues about environment, and certainly our village is affected by the environment. And this is a fabulous step for all of us to take at the Village Center. It's really it's an initiative. We hope that it can take place even in other villages throughout our town of Brookhaven. When we spoke with Jonathan Cornwright, she said that even in the town of Brookhaven, they're trying to resolve some of the problems that are affecting all of the communities. But as far as I know, and maybe Holly can answer this, Port Jefferson might be the first village to have a single-use plastic ban in a public building, and that warrants attention. That really warrants attention. It's a small, small step, and it's something that we should all really consider in our other public buildings as well. So I thank you for your passing of this, for putting it on a resolution in this small, small way, because dealing with the other issues of the environment, you've got your hands full, and I know that. Lastly, I know that you might have met, Lauren, you might have met with 2 people from Blarg. Okay, and they are dear friends of mine, and I'm a member of Blarg. Blarg is the Brookhaven Landfill Action Remediation Group. And they are a group of people who started 5 years ago and live under the 280-foot Brookhaven landfill in North Bellport. And they have serious health problems in that community. And they have a school there that has been affected by high cancer rates, not only with their teachers, but with the students. And they are our brothers and sisters. And if we can make sure that even though we are on the North Shore and they are on the South Shore, we all come together and realize that our environment needs to be protected. And when they need help, all of you and all of us should be there for the North Bellport people who are looking for zero waste, elimination of the landfill, and doing amazing things in their community. And zero waste might be another thing that you and the trustees and the mayor might want to consider in small ways. They also have an amazing community garden there on McDonald Street in North Bellport that every single one of you should visit. And they're really, truly involved in composting and having community programs based on this. So they're under what's called environmental racism. And that's a term that's being used all over the country with communities that have landfills built in impoverished minority districts. And that's a word that I hope you become more familiar with, because it's happening right here in our communities in North Bellport. So I thank you for this initiative. I hope it's just the beginning of really being more aware of how we can make a better situation possible in our village. I thank you. Stan, I wasn't sure you were going to be here, so I have a gift for you. I'm approaching the bench. Mr. Moran. Feel free. Thank you.
Permission granted. Can I have one of those, Stan? Let me see that. Let me see one. I know what they are, but I just want to touch it again.
Oh, by the way, everybody, listen very carefully. If you hold that up, those are what I give out for housewarming gifts. So instead of bringing a bottle of wine to somebody's house, buy these by the dozen and give them out as house gifts because they really come in handy. Thank you.
We're not promoting any particular vendor.
No, I did not mention any names or vendors.
Thank you, Myrna.
Myrna, you think I'm going to get rid of these, right? I'm going to pass them out to everyone.
I know you are. I know you are.
He's going to bring them to the club. Now, the club uses silverware, and they reuse their silverware.
That's not single-use plastic, though.
No, correct. Holly.
Can I take this out?
It's on. It's on.
For you, it pulls out.
I'm Holly Fizeme, 116 Belterre Road, Port Jefferson. I'm the president of the Eco League, which is an environmental group. I think we're the only environmental group in Port Jefferson Village. Eco League, everybody can like us on Facebook. It's about 2.5 to 3 years since I stood in front of Mayor Garant and the Board of Trustees then, and was talking about eliminating single-use plastic at the Village Center. My club has gone forward with some of our initiatives. I also at that time talked to the Conservation Advisory Committee. And things didn't happen then, but they are happening now. So I want to thank everybody who's involved and the trustees here as well. The Eco League has also started on some other initiatives. We did propose a composting system which Winter Brothers would agree to. We contacted them about them. At the time, the CAC thought it would attract rats and so on, but there's no reason why that can't be looked at again, because we could save so much methane that wouldn't go to the huge landfill that Myrna's talking about. And we could do it near the farmer's market. We could use the compost on our community garden. There's lots of ways that these can be worked into things that the village would appreciate. The other thing I wanted to mention is that Eco League has a program called, it's from US Reduces, and if you look that up online, you will see that all over the country, there's 20 to 25 groups that hand out, mainly on the West Coast and the East Coast, but some in between. I think one of the first one was in Ithaca, New York. They hand out stickers that say BYOC, bring your own container. That means that cafe or eating establishment will be glad to fill your container rather than handing out single-use plastic. And so we have 2 cafes here. I don't mind advertising them a little bit. One is Southdown, and the other is Locals. We also have You, Me, and Tea, which is the tea shop down near the brewery. Tiger Lily, thank you. Oh my God. Tiger Lily, one of my favorite places to eat. And we have Simple Good, who Melanie Gonzalez is the person who has agreed to help people get their sustainable silverware and sustainable cups and plates and so on together for their events at the Village Center. All right, so we've done some work, but I feel we have a long way to go, and I'm thinking that the last thing I'll say is that Myrna was right. We are, according to a very authoritative source, it's called Upstream, and it counts the different localities in the United States and Canada that have BYO programs, no plastics in government buildings, no plastics at restaurants, and that's not all of them, but the last one is no plastics at public events. In this case, in our government building, the town building, the village building. Looking at that, I found that no community except San Luis Obispo in California, which has 50,000 people, has the standalone event space ban of single-use plastics. And of all of Long Island, there are no dots on the map. There's a few in New York State, but so we are the first village on Long Island, as far as we know, and as far as has been publicized nationally, to do this ban. And I think it's a very good starting point for moving towards other green initiatives and starting to market ourselves as a green village. Because so many of, I actually have 2 jobs. One of them is at the Pattern Finders jewelry store. And I sit in my chair and I'm always saying to people, you don't need a bag, do you? These are paper bags, okay? And they say, oh no, I'll put my ring on my finger. And I'm like, great. And mostly it's the members of the younger generation, I'd say millennials and Gen Z, who never think of taking the bag. They don't want the bag. We grew up, in my generation, always taking a plastic bag because we thought we'd be accused of what? Shoplifting? I don't know. But most of those plastic bags are used for 13 seconds. And now we've all switched to New York State. So you can see this is moving forward, and I'd just like it to continue. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Holly. Janice.
Janice Fleischman-Eaton, 23 Old Post Road East. Congratulations, Mayor
Okay.
Shipro. Congratulations to Trustee Giuliano and Trustee Franco. I just wanted to make an announcement as a Port Jefferson Civic Association Walkability Committee leader. We're doing a July 14th presentation. Everybody's welcome to come. You'll get your invitations. Cynthia Brown, the director of New York Coalition for Transportation Safety, is coming and doing a presentation. You guys might have seen her on Newsday when she did a Nassau County presentation about pedestrian safety. The walk away, the main thing I came away with is something so simple, and then it just happened in Southold. That 82-year-old gentleman was crossing the street at a crosswalk, got hit and killed by a driver. Now, so what we heard, Marilyn was with me, when we were in Nassau County at this coalition. There was a panel. They talked about all kinds of things, and Cynthia's coming to help our village advocate for all the things we see that it feels like it's an accident waiting to happen. So remember, when you're using the crosswalks, don't feel, like you could just step onto the street. Eye contact with the drivers. Wave to the drivers. If they don't wave back, they don't look like they see you, don't cross. It doesn't automatically mean you're safe. So I'll put a flyer back there. I was going to ask if you could put this on the website, the village website. If you approve it, or if you need
We can post it on the display downstairs. What time is that, Janice?
It's 6:30.
6:30.
Monday night, July 14th.
Monday, July 14th at 6:30 at the library?
Yes.
The Port Jefferson Library?
Yes.
Okay. And
we hope to walk around with Cynthia before the meeting, because those areas like West Broadway, she saw pictures, but seeing it with her own eyes, it would be important for her to help us with that.
Okay. Thank you. Other public comment? Okay, seeing none, we can now move on to comments from trustees. So I'll go last if anybody wants to go first. I'll start down at the end with Trustee Hill.
Sure. I just want to say thank you to Trustee Stan the Man Laux. It's been truly a privilege to be here for your final year. 10 years anywhere is a long time, and 10 years doing public service, which is, I know you said you enjoyed every minute of it, but there is certainly no way that is true. And honestly, I don't think public service is meant to be enjoyed every single minute of it. It's an honor and a privilege, and I think we all collectively really like it, but there are certainly moments where you don't, and that's what makes it public service. So thank you for all those years that you gave us, and thank you to your family too, because a lot of people forget how much all our partners are home alone, taking a break from us, I guess, but it's a night that we're not with family or friends, so they're also missing out, and their names are not up on a placard and their faces are not up streaming on the website. So thank you to you and your family.
Trustee Ugrinsky?
Well, I already thanked Stan, so for his guidance. So thank you again. So as far as announcements, first of all, let me congratulate really the whole single-use plastic, or single-use plastic elimination was a conversation that has been going on for a very long time. And Holly, I appreciate the kind of research that you did to make the business case, right? As we discussed, and then I'm thrilled about the progress that we're making on the walkability study. We met with Hayduck and Janice and Bob to discuss that. So you'll hear more about that as that evolves. But I'm thrilled because it makes our village a safer place. And we have a couple of new folks that are on the power plant working group that are now, let's see, now we are no longer a mighty group of 4, we are 6. And I want to welcome Jim Gray and Wesley. Of course, I can't remember his last name, but I will remedy that in the next one. So we continue to have conversations that extend all the way up to Albany about creating awareness of who we are as a village and ensuring that we've got a stake or a seat at the table. So everyone has been really collaborative with us, which is a good thing, and with the one exception of LIPA that we are still working on. So, yeah, and the Budget and Finance Committee meets next Thursday, this coming Thursday, and that would be it for me. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Giuliano.
So we'll talk about a couple things first. As far as the plastic ban, I got a shout out to Drina, who I know worked with Kyle and the CAC as far as pushing this along. So I know we mentioned a couple of people, so I just wanted to give her a shout out too, for really bringing that to our attention and to getting this done, or as soon as we pass it. Karen, congratulations on the 1 year, and congratulations on the expansion. And Stan, I remember your first meeting. I was sitting over there. I wasn't on the board then. I was the clerk then, and I remember your first meeting. And just want to take this time to say thank you for all the work you've done, for the village. As Kyle said, it's not just you alone; it's your family. And I'm sorry that Peggy isn't here to say thank you to her as well, because it is a collaborative effort. So congratulations on your retirement. Thank you so much for all the hard work you put into the village, and we'll miss you on the board here. So, thank you.
Thank you to all of you people. The road to some of the goals that we had over the last 10 years was not always easy, and a lot of it was very challenging. But I honestly did enjoy challenges, and most of the time we got to the end of the road. And again, thanks you all.
Good job. Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you, Stan. Just in my comments, I'd like to first congratulate Trustee Giuliano on an election well won.
To you as well.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And we see Trustee-elect Franco is in the audience. So congratulations to him, too, on his election well won. And looking forward to July 9th when we kick off our first official meeting together. Really looking forward to it. So we'll miss Stan, no question about it. But there's only one chair that's going to be refilled this time, and that will be to my right. So it's a big seat to fill. No small feat to fill it. So looking forward to it. I want to, Barbara Sabatino, respond to your comment. We will be in touch, and I'll ask the clerk to lead this, to be in touch with Mather Hospital's Community Relations Office to express to them your observations. If you want to put that in writing to her, that will make it easier on her, but either way, she will be in touch with the Community Relations Office at Mather. I understand exactly what you're talking about. There's got to be a pattern, and I believe there is a pattern in the permit, right? They were permitted to build that, to move that helipad. So we'll take a look at that, and I'm sure the observation will help them in whatever action they take. Okay. And then we are aware that we need a new audio system. And let me tell you that we offered to, there was some offers going on. It was not a village event, so we didn't have control over how the audio system was selected. But if the village was responsible for that, we certainly would have had some impact on how that was. But that doesn't mean that we are aware that we need a new audio system. So that's on the checklist. To Karen Sullivan, wish I could have been there on Sunday, Friday. Unfortunately, I had some other plans that couldn't change, but congratulations, and congratulations on your expansion. So really, really happy for you. I remember a conversation we had where you were thinking about even moving your business. So I'm glad that you don't have to do that, and everything's going to work out for the best. So congrats. And thank you for your service on the Public Safety Advisory Council. I'm so glad that that council is rejuvenated, and very happy with Trustee Hill's leadership of that council. Myrna, I just want to let you know, and everybody else in this room, that Clerk Perillo took it a step further, and before the resolution was even enacted, invested in utensils and provisions that were not single-use plastic for the election. So for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner that was served to our election inspectors and all that were there that needed to be fed, they utilized the good stuff. All right, so we started off without even having to. So happy that you're happy. Gratitude to the trustees that helped lead it, and the Conservation Advisory Council for even further endorsing it, and of course again to Holly and all who are involved in it. And the meeting with the BRICS, did you say that's the organization? What's the organization, Myrna, that I met with? It was, and Melanie. So we had a very good first conversation. Our consultant from Haydock, who was former DEC and an expert in trash and garbage and waste, and actually was at a breakfast this morning leading a conference on it in Brentwood, or helping organize the conference in Brentwood. He will help us every step of the way, and if there is a way to do this composting, we will. There are public safety and public health issues related, but it's opening our eyes to the fact, and I'm sure we'll get our councils and committees involved in taking it as far forward as we can. And, yeah, those are my, our next, just a note that our next organizational meeting, to Karen's question, we will be considering, there is a list that the clerk's office is putting together that identifies people on committees, councils, boards whose terms have expired and are either considering to be renewed or new appointments to be made. So that will happen July 9th. Okay? Okay, that's it for me.
Mayor, may I just make that one correction that I had? So the additional member for the power plant working group is Dr. Wesley Francione. He teaches engineering at Suffolk Community College, and we're absolutely thrilled to have that level of expertise joining the team.
Okay, great. Okay, next up on our agenda is, drum roll, please. Action items. Okay, all right.
Okay. Sorry for the delay. We'll start, of course, with resolution number 1, 62525, a resolution approving the attached minutes of the May 28th, 2025, June 2nd, 2025, and June 11th, 2025 meetings of the Village of Port Jefferson Board of Trustees. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Take the second.
Trustee Laux.
Take the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 2, 62525, resolution scheduling a public hearing for 6:00 p.m. on July 30th, 2025 at Village Hall, 121 West Broadway, Port Jefferson, New York, 11777, regarding a proposed local law amending Chapter 173 Noise, Section 173-4 Standards of the Code of the Village of Port Jefferson. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just wanna
Opposed?
Sorry,
Question?
just discussion before. I just want to point out that this was a resident-driven issue. So the backstory here is code was called for, on someone's neighbor because they were doing construction early in the morning, and based on when we got these emails, I think it was Memorial Day, and code enforcement went to go check to see if they could issue a noise violation, but they could not because federal holidays are not included in our code to comply with our weekend noise ordinances. So this was a recommendation that from Supervisor Kevin Cooper to consider this change, and I just want to thank the resident for making that call, because a lot of folks will just sit and stew and be mad, but you can actually, we can actually change some things. So thank you to that resident for giving code a call, and thank you to Supervisor Cooper for bringing it to our attention and allowing us the opportunity to make this change.
Thank you for your leadership there. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 3, 62525, resolution approving the attached resolution urging Governor Hochul to sign Assembly Bill A 08560A, which would require that the New York State Department of Transportation follow through on the land agreement for the Lawrence Aviation Site. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Trustee Hill, do you want to talk about this? Because this is your initiative as well.
Sure. So without getting too bogged down in the details, our Assemblywoman Rebecca Casey passed legislation related to the Lawrence Aviation site, and basically the long and short of it is New York State Department of Transportation and the MTA need to come to an agreement so that they can reroute the Greenway Trail, so that they can move the trail yard. The train yard to this new location. That is important because it is the linchpin to the MTA actually committing to electrifying the Port Jeff rail. every time you drive to Ronkonkoma, because there's a more convenient train there than the one right in our own backyard, is because that train is that line is fully electrified, and ours is not, between Huntington through the rest of the line. That's why, and the diesel trains are slower. They can't go through the entire system. That's why you have to transfer at Huntington and wait 8 to 12 minutes outside. There's a lot of disadvantages that we have. Also, you can see the exhaust coming out of the diesel trains. Spoiler, it is not good for you. So it would be much preferred to have an electric option. And it also contributes to climate change. So this is a really important, regionally and for our county, but very specifically for us in our, immediate kind of 3-village Port Jeff area, and all the surrounding hamlets that train station would hopefully serve. And hopefully that increases ridership, which would only improve the accessibility that we would have on that rail line. But Assemblywoman Cassay passed a resolution basically forcing MTA and New York State Department of Transportation to do all that, or to get that ball rolling, because they've been slow walking it. And that has been passed by the state Senate. It was the final bill that was passed in the state assembly this session, which is a very impressive for a freshman assembly member. So hats off to our Port Jeff's very own Rebecca Cassay. But this urges the governor to sign that and get this done.
And this has been sitting around for like over 2 years.
Yes,
It
not the
was
bill,
land
but this
bank-
whole thing, yes.
The land bank allocation and the ability for the state to purchase this, for the MTA to take the deal, which was $10.
Yep.
Right, which at a press conference recently, Assemblywoman Cassay put up 2 5s and said, "I'll pay for it. I'll do this. Just buy it." And so it was funny, but it was very visual and very compelling. And every single official is for this, the purchase of this, to get this acquisition. And the deadline is, it was a 2-year deadline, I believe, and the deadline expires on June 30th. So that's why the urgency now. And so again, thank you for your leadership in pulling this into our board to give us an opportunity to support this as a board and as a village.
Thank you. Thank you for getting it on the agenda.
So that was a little reminiscent of your dad giving Winston $1 to purchase the golf course, right?
Similar theatrics, yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you want to read the resolution?
Sure, I'm happy to.
Okay, thank you.
Bear with me. Resolution urging Governor Hochul to sign Assembly Bill A08560A, furthering rail transit in Suffolk County Act. Whereas the Port Jefferson Village Board strongly supports modernizing and electrifying the Long Island Railroad's Port Jefferson branch, recognizing its vital role in enhancing commuter reliability, reducing air pollution, supporting local businesses, and connecting regional educational employment centers, including Stony Brook University. And whereas the former Lawrence Aviation Industry site in Port Jefferson Station, a 126-acre former Superfund location, has undergone environmental remediation, and significant portions have already been designated for open space and solar energy. And whereas a 40-acre parcel at the site is intended to become a rail yard essential to the electrification of Port Jefferson Branch, yet the Metropolitan Transportation Authority cannot finalize acquisition until the New York State Department of Transportation grants a necessary permanent access and construction easement. And whereas Assembly Bill A08560A, sponsored by Assemblywoman Rebecca Cassay, would require the DOT to grant the easement to the MTA within 6 months, preserve DOT authority to build Route 25A infrastructure via bridge or reroute, and clarify that the Greenway bicycle and pedestrian trail may be realigned as needed. And whereas Assembly Bill A08560A passed the New York State Senate with the help of New York State Senator Anthony Palumbo on June 13th, 2025, and Assemblywoman Rebecca Cassay successfully got Assembly Bill A08560A passed by the New York State Assembly on June 17th, 2025. And whereas local and county leaders, including Suffolk County Executive Ed Romaine, Brookhaven Town Supervisor Dan Panico, have repeatedly called for swift action before the firm June 30th, 2025 deadline to close the land transfer. And whereas without the easement, the timely signing of A08560A by Governor Hochul, the Port Jefferson electrification plan and its benefits to the environment economic and commuter interests remain in jeopardy. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Port Jefferson as follows, that the village respectfully urges Governor Kathy Hochul to immediately sign Assembly Bill A08560A into law.
Thank you. Now you know how Sylvia feels. All right, thank you so much again. That resolution has passed.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 462525, resolution appointing the members of the Conservation Advisory Council to serve as the Climate Smart Communities Task Force, and affirming that the Village Board Liaison to the Conservation Advisory Council will serve as the Village Board Liaison to the Climate Smart Communities Task Force. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second?
Hold on a second. Are you allowed to second
I
your
don't
own
know.
appointment?
Well, just as the liaison.
Kidding. All right, can we have a little discussion about this, Zena? Can you explain what this
Yeah.
is about, and Bob?
Yeah, so we had been, actually, again, Rebecca Casse was instrumental in getting us connected to an energy program in town of Brookhaven that was actually from NYSERDA. And we've done a number of things on their list that would enable us to get, it was a points system, but for certain activities, there were grants that would be made. Some of those grants, most grants tend to be matching grants, but some of the grants were also, complete this activity and we will write you a check. So, for example, you've heard the treasurer talk about our fixed asset inventory. So the fact that we finished that is actually something on that list. So that program wrapped up at the end of last year and has been replaced with this particular program now called the Climate Smart Communities. But it is a continuation of that program. So we're going to be working very closely with our NYSERDA concierge. Andrew, once again, last name starts with an M. So if you're listening, Andrew, I apologize. But so we do have assistance in guiding us through the process, and it is as I said, a continuation of smart communities. We'll be evaluating the lighting in all of our buildings, whether there are opportunities for solar, any kind of expansion of the electric charging stations that we've already put in. So, we're in the process of identifying what the low-hanging fruit is now, for similar to what we did, Janice, with the walkability study, right? What are the easy things to accomplish that we can do within the budget with no impact to it? So I'm looking forward to Bob sort of leading that with the Conservation Advisory Council and having additional arms and legs to help get this done.
All right, very good.
Yes, we had a meeting with the CAC last night, and we went through some of the points, and there's a number of points that that we could gain access to, and we could gain points as well as having grant opportunities based on those points. So
Yep.
the CAC is eager to take a look and start working on this. And like Zena said, we'll start with the low-hanging fruit and get those done, and then move on from there.
Very good. Very good. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 62525, resolves that the Board of Trustees hereby ratifies and approves a memorandum of agreement with the CSCA, Village of Port Jefferson Unit CSCA Local 852, Local 1000, AFSCME, AFL-CIO, regarding the terms of a collective bargaining agreement covering the period June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2029. Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes Mayor Lauren Shepro to execute the agreement on behalf of the village. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And thank you for all of your hard work on this.
Thank
Like,
you, trustees.
This is, it's sitting on the sidelines and having watched that, that was a challenging negotiation. So,
Listen, did you bring a bottle of champagne? Because
Later.
that's worth popping a cork for. Congratulations.
yeah.
Resolution number 62525, resolution approving the attached intermunicipal agreement between the Village of Port Jefferson and the Town of Brookhaven for the implementation and facilitation of the sharing of digital and other information through the assessor's offices of both the Village of Port Jefferson and the Town of Brookhaven, as well as the information technology departments of both the village and the town, and authorizing Mayor Shepro to sign the intermunicipal agreement on behalf of the Village of Port Jefferson. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 7-62525, resolution establishing a Village of Port Jefferson policy effective immediately, that single-use plastics are not permitted to be utilized at the Village of Port Jefferson Village Center, and confirming that an acknowledgement per the attached will be added to the Village Center room rental contract effective immediately.
Wait, nobody voted
we
yet.
haven't
We need a motion.
Wait, not yet.
Motion?
Motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Now
carries.
you can applaud.
And I might,
I do just want to say, thank you to everyone that worked on this, and really a special thank you to Myrna, who never took no or maybe or will think about it as an answer. So thank you. And same to you, Holly, as well. It was really a pleasure working with both of you on this. And then special shout out to Drina Levine, who on the CAC shepherded it through that committee. Bob, thank you for helping out there as well. And then Melody Gonzalez from Simple Good, who is actually going to make this policy operational, because policy on paper is really no good if it's not actually out there in the world. And then I just want to say, kind of a pat on the back to the village for doing this. It's a very modest and small step, but it is absolutely in the right direction and pioneering, since no one else in the state has done it yet. But hopefully will serve as a model. And I think this is a really good example of kind of, think globally but act locally, because, you think there's not, we can't solve climate change or pollution, but we can do very small things that if everyone did them, they would add up to some real help. So I'm pretty proud of us for doing this. So thank you for everyone that was involved. And thank you, Mayor Shepro, for agreeing to put this on the agenda. I appreciate it so much.
It was my pleasure.
and if I could just add, I know the CAC wanted to include the here Village Hall as well as DPW, but when we had discussions today, we said, well, there's really no, we really don't bring in the plastics into the building, but we'll work on
If
the
there's,
couple plastics that we have here about
there's
eliminating
some that are
those.
back there, but if we invest in some sort of utensil, if we need plates or anything like that, we'll make sure there is a purchasing directive to get them. Right? And Clerk Perillo knows where to get them.
Oh, and then if there's not an objection, would it be okay if we put the letters of support that we received on the policy in the minutes so that it'll kind of always be there in the record?
Where are those?
They've been, some we got kind of right before we got here, so I've sent them to the clerk as
Okay,
I
great.
got them.
Resolution number 862525, resolution awarding the contracts for chemicals to be used at the Port Jefferson Country Club per the attached spreadsheet prepared by Patrick Sullivan, following an analysis of bids received per the bid opening on May 12th, 2025. May I have a motion?
I'll make
Motion.
the motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 962525, resolution approving the request of Coastal Steward to perform a courtesy beach cleanup on the cul-de-sac at the end of Crystal Brook Hollow Road along the south side of Mount Sinai Harbor, running to East Beach from 8 o'clock a.m. through 1 o'clock p.m. on July 12th, 2025, July 26th, 2025, August 9th, 2025, or August 23rd, 2025, one of those dates. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I think volunteers can help those so for residents that are interested in this.
Can just show up.
Can show up and help as well.
We just need to know which date they're.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we can publicize that on our digital channels.
Once finalized, yes.
Okay.
Resolution number 10, 62525, resolution approving the event permit application submitted by Alan Varela on behalf of the Greater Port Jefferson Arts Council for the use of Harborfront Park and the parking lot at Harborfront Park for the annual Cedar Beach Blues on the Harbor Festival from 11 a.m. through 6 p.m. on September 21st, 2025, and approving a waiver of the requisite permit fee. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 11, 62525, resolution accepting the resignation of Andre Drew Biondo from the Port Jefferson Public Safety Advisory Council effective May 29th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And just
I
the
wanna thank Drew, yeah.
the reason is that his career is, he's committed to his career and all the night events that he's responsible for attending in his role at the Suffolk County Police Department. So he is just unable to commit the time, but he's always available for consultation if needed.
I want to thank Drew for his service. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also just want to say Drew's been especially helpful, and he has a perspective that's unique on the council, so he will be missed, but I know where his house is, and I have his email, so, but he really did, like, there have been incidents where we'll be talking about something and be like, well, actually, Patchogue has this XYZ code, and here it is, and like,
Yeah.
he's very, very helpful and technical help, which is hard to come by, so, thank you.
Okay, next.
Thank you. Resolution number 12, 62525, resolution accepting the letter of retirement submitted by Senior Code Enforcement Officer Daniel G. O'Connell, effective June 6th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanking Dan for his long service as a village code enforcement officer, and we appreciate his commitment. So, thank you.
Resolution number 13, 62525, resolution accepting a letter of retirement submitted by Village Superintendent of Public Works Stephen Gallagher, effective July 1st, 2025. May I have a motion?
Under duress, I'm going to make the motion because Steve would kill me if I didn't make the motion, but he is definitely going to be missed. He's been an employee for the village 40 years, 35 years? I don't know how long, but he's definitely going to be missed, and I will miss his friendship, but I'll make that motion.
Sadly, I will second it.
I'm not going to ask for a vote. How about that?
So there.
He's leaving whether we vote on
Right,
this or not.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so July 1st, we have 2 more weeks with him, is that right? Maybe a week and a half?
I want to.
No, it's not, what am I thinking?
No.
We have 6 days.
I'd like to add, Steve Gallagher is going to be missed. Very difficult to replace a guy who devoted so many years and so many hours to this village. I wish him all the luck in the world wherever he's going. I think he's going south.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah. And his mantra is residents first. Everything that he did and does was because he was dedicated to his job that was in service of the village residents and taxpayers. So he gets that, he got that, and he led that way. And so he leaves a team of gentlemen and women who are very dedicated to him, and would do anything for him, and because he's a leader who, he's uncompromising, but he's reasonable and he's got common sense. And that's a very that's a great combination of attributes, especially for someone who has a highway department to run and public works to oversee. So it's a very complicated job, and you know, the 30-plus years, over 3 decades of involvement have led him to where he is today, and he will be missed. But he's a phone call away, as he has said, just like Drew. And we're not going to let him out, or we're not going to let him off that easily, right? So, anyway, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Resolution number 14, 62525. Resolution approving the hiring of the following part-time seasonal camp counselors for the Village of Port Jefferson Recreation Program, effective June 30th, 2025. Elena Rosetto at an hourly wage rate of $16.50 per hour. Jillian Bolback at an hourly wage rate of $16.50 per hour. Leah Altamirano at an hourly wage rate of $17 per hour. Lauren Calandriel at an hourly wage rate of $17 per hour. And Marie Fukudo at an hourly wage rate of $17 per hour. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 15, 62525. Resolution approving the hiring of the following part-time seasonal lifeguards for the Village of Port Jefferson Recreation Program, effective June 28th, 2025. Christopher Scotto at an hourly wage rate of $16.50 per hour, and Ellery Tafaro at an hourly wage rate of $18 per hour. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 16, 62525. Resolution ratifying the hiring of Patrick Johnston and Andrew Floyd as part-time seasonal laborers at the Port Jefferson Country Club at an hourly wage rate of $18 per hour, effective June 25th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 17, 62525. Resolution approving the hiring of Matthew Owens as a full-time groundskeeper 1 at the Village of Port Jefferson Country Club and an annual salary of $40,290 per year, effective June 26, 2025, with all rights and benefits per the collective bargaining agreement currently enforced between the Village of Port Jefferson and CSEA Local 1000. This hire is subject to the standard 26-week civil service probationary period. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Resolution number 18, 62525. Resolution authorizing a one-time reimbursement to Avril Coakley in her capacity as the co-chairperson of the Village of Port Jefferson Tree Committee for travel and mileage expenses related to attendance at the Tree City USA recognition event in Kingston, New York on March 27th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Resolution number 19, 62525. Resolution approving the attached proposal submitted by Brothers 2 Business Machines for the lease of a new copier for the Department of Public Works and authorizing Treasurer Gafka to sign all corresponding required paperwork. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 20, 62525. Resolution authorizing the creation of a new capital fund expense line item to be known as H 5410205.2, Capital Sidewalks Tennis Court Walkway. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 21, 62525. Resolution authorizing the creation of a new capital fund expense line item to be known as H 5110205.2, Highway Capital Paving Fiscal 2026. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 22, 62525. Resolution authorizing the creation of a new capital fund revenue line item to be known as H 4910 Federal Aid Community Development Block Grant. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just a quick, so that community development block grant, Treasurer Gafka, can you just tell us what that is for? About?
That's in relation to doing the other part of the sidewalk project from Barnum around the tennis courts and down. We received CDBG funds to do part of that project. So that is what this is in relation to.
Okay, thank you.
Resolution number 23, 62525, resolution authorizing Treasurer Gafka to perform budget amendment number 91, increasing anticipated revenues for line item H 5031 interfund transfer, and increasing appropriations for line item H 51102 highway capital equipment by $28,029.08 respectively to fully fund the fiscal 2026 street sweeper payment. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 24, 62525, resolution authorizing Treasurer Gafka to perform attached budget amendment number 94, increasing anticipated revenues for capital fund line item H 3089, other governmental aid, by $64,401 for Suffolk County Downtown Revitalization Grant Round 18, increasing line item H 4910, federal aid, community development block grants, by $69,901 for CDBG funds through the town of Brookhaven, and increasing line item H 5031 interfund transfer by $2,138, and increasing appropriations for line item H 54102052 capital sidewalks, tennis court walkways by $136,080 per the bid awarded to DL Concrete to perform the required sidewalk work. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
So that resolution that came in between 22 and 24 doesn't have anything to do with 22 and 24, but 22 and 24 do have something to do with one another, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You're trying to mess with us, aren't you? You're seeing if we're paying attention. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Resolution number 25, 62525, resolution authorizing Treasurer Gafka to perform attached budget amendment number 95, increasing anticipated revenues for capital fund line item H 3501, consolidated highway aid, by $396,337.48 for New York State budgeted CHIPS aid, and increasing appropriations for line item H 51102052, highway capital paving fiscal 2026, by $396,337.48. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Resolution number 26, 62525. Resolution approving the check register and warrants dated June 23rd, 2025, as presented by Treasurer Gafka and as approved by Claims Auditor Goodwin. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor, at this time, we have an add-on to the agenda, which will be the new number 27. It will be known as 27-62525. Resolution approving the event permit application submitted by Alan Varela on behalf of the Greater Port Jefferson Arts Council for the use of East Beach for the East Beach Rocks live concerts to be held beginning at 6 p.m. every Friday from July 11th, 2025 through August 29th, 2025, and approving a waiver of the requisite permit fee. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution number 28, 62525, resolution to enter into executive session at 7:38 p.m. to discuss a contract negotiation and the specific performance of a particular employee. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Clerk Perla, before we vote on this, will we be coming back to vote on any subsequent resolutions? Is this anticipated?
It is anticipated, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. So, Chris, we will be back. Perlo, do you want to lead us back into the meeting?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have resolution number 20.
Do we come out of exec?
That's what we're doing right now. We're going to come out of executive.
Thank you.
You're
Sorry.
welcome.
Mm-hmm.
With resolution number 29, which is a resolution to close the executive session portion of the June 25th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Trustees at 9:01 p.m.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. With that, Mayor and Board, we have two resolutions that came out of executive session. The first one is resolution number 30, 62525, resolution approving the hiring of Kevin Cooper as a full-time code enforcement supervisor at an annual salary of $75,000 per year, effective July 3rd, 2025. This provisional civil service appointment is subject to the standard 26-week civil service probationary period. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Resolution number 31, 62525. Resolution approving the proposal submitted by Stephen Gallagher for the provision of as-needed consultant services to the Department of Public Works at an hourly consultant rate of $68 per hour, not to exceed 15 hours per week. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Just a quick word. We thought that, by resolving to agree to Steve's retirement, that he would be leaving us and enjoying his life in Tennessee, but we had other plans.
Just when I
So-
thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Yeah. So this is actually to help transition leadership through, and Steve has really been very helpful in agreeing to help that transition take place, so that his knowledge, his institutional information does not get lost with his departure from the village on a full-time level, but he'll be helping us part-time and ready at our behest. If we need him, we can make a phone call and invite him to meetings, that kind of thing, and continue to benefit from his vast institutional knowledge. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. With that, we have resolution number 32, 62525, resolution to close the June 25th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Trustees at 9:03 PM. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Oh, let's have Stan,
Second.
please.
Wait.
Second.
Okay. I don't know if I want to ask for a vote on this either. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Should we do a roll call?